this week, which is out of our ordinary. Normally it's Thursday. We changed. We got a couple of days behind schedule, but we are back. Don't you worry. It was not a conspiracy that kept us out of here. But funny, I should mention that because we're talking about conspiracies this morning. We're gonna be chatting a little bit about some modern science, conspiracies, things that we believe, things that we don't believe, everything in between.
Opinions. It's all opinions. Don't.
And they're fun.
They're fun. These.
I mean, some might be alternative facts.
And they're completely true.
Yeah, this podcast is actually just called Me and Olive Fight for 40 minutes about nonsense.
Yeah. And we do have a special guest with us today. So outside of our normal Harold,
Tyler,
Olive,
Zach,
we have the illustrious Sir Devyn Borthwicke. So if you hear some really outstanding guffaws in the background that you haven't heard to this point in the podcast, it's Devyn.
Or muffled crying.
that'll be me.
That'll be Devyn.
Oh, man. This is what my voice sounds like if you're curious. I don't know what it sounds like, but now you do, so congratulations.
There you go.
So what are some crazy conspiracy theories that you guys have heard of or been thinking about?
Whoa.
That's just a fact.
No, that's ridiculous.
That's just factually.
I didn't want to talk about that one.
That's a
Jet
good
fuel
thing.
can't melt steel beams.
Yeah, that one's referring
I feel like
to the
we've moved
9/11
on
attack.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna just jump right into the edginess here.
I mean,
Yeah,
why not?
that's definitely not
Why,
what
I mean, we told them
about.
not to listen. Why dance around the two of them?
Right? That one's some guy made a documentary and I think wrote a book about the 9/11 attack. How that just was.
It was an
inside job made by the government, like they planted bombs.
Well,
and
yeah, that's true.
All right.
And
Don't laugh like it's not.
I've heard more of the one where it was like the government knew about it but didn't do anything.
Yeah, but this guy was saying that there's no way that the plane hitting the jet fuel could melt the steel to make the building collapse in on itself, even though blacksmiths were kind of bending steel for years, without any jet fuel, just some coal and some wood. So I don't know where this guy's coming from.
And there's a lot of gravity at that point.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight.
Plus, if you take a chunk out of a building, regardless of any melting, it's probably gonna, that'd be my.
Yeah, but it wouldn't collapse on itself the way that it did. It just
if the supports
folded
got
on
taken
itself.
out, yeah.
That was architecture
All right,
made
Mr.
to
Architect.
be like that.
If you took out supports to any building in the entire world, it's gonna fall down like that.
On itself.
Yeah, absolutely. If you took out the supports to a house, any house, it's gonna.
There would be some leaning.
Well, yeah, it'd be some leaning for sure.
Yeah, there's
toppling.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Didn't lean
I'm
or
not gonna.
topple.
Yeah, this isn't the one. This isn't. Maybe
The one
maybe
you
it
wanna
was.
fight
I don't
about.
know anything. I don't know anything about 9/11.
But there's also, I think Zach was bringing up a point. There's some design that goes into that to make them fall straight down.
I don't know
so
where
if
I
something
heard it,
does
but I'm
happen,
pretty sure they did
it
design
doesn't
it.
fall down and domino the rest of the city with it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think there was the 60s, I think, because that was when we were really angry about communism being a thing. There was this, I think it was called Operation Black Forest. I might be incorrect on that, but it was this plan to load a bunch of government operatives onto a plane and then have it get blown up somehow, and then they would be like, that was Cuba. Cuba did the thing. And then we would have an excuse to invade Cuba. But then eventually they were like, we're going to not do that. And so people are like, that basically is 9/11 happening because that was the plan. And then also, this is way older, but during, I don't remember, I think it was early 1800s, I think was when the Spanish-American War was, when there was a boat and this guy was smoking a cigarette and he threw a cigarette down and it landed next to a barrel of gunpowder and just the entire boat just blew up. And then America was like, Spain did it. We can guarantee you Spain did that. And then they went to war with Spain for a month and they were like, this is boring, we're going to stop.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds like America.
That's
The mighty power of the U.S. of A.
Well, think of the weapons of mass destruction that we were looking for in the Gulf War.
Yeah.
Back in the second George Bush era
Right.
that weren't actually found.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't even know that we were intending to go that deep into conspiracy theories. I was thinking of this stuff called planned obsolescence. Obsolescence. Planned obsolescence. So,
Go on.
like, basically, in, you know, the whole, like, adage, they don't make things like they used to kind of thing. And part of that, I think, is true because of how, like, we're just trained as a consumer society. And things are made to not last as long as they used to. Things are made, you know, specifically to have kind of an end date to them so that they don't. And it might not be a specific date, but so that it doesn't last forever. So I don't go and buy one computer and I have it for the rest of my life, but I have to go and I keep buying more and more. And
Right.
so there's various ways that happens because, you know, it could be through the parts and things like, look at, you know, what Apple does, and it's like, oh, this one no longer has a headphone jack, and oh, we'll still make you think that you can still use your old headphones, but now you've got to buy new headphones if you really want to be cutting edge.
You gotta change the
and
charging port.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like all these parts, these components that you used to have are no longer valid. No, they're obsolete. And part of that is planned. And like even if it doesn't change the function of something, like, you know, think of like printers and the printing cartridges and ink and stuff, or, you know, cameras and when they used to have film and coming out with like different versions of film and things like that that wouldn't fit in an old model, so you'd have to buy something new. As well as just like think of like your lawnmowers and stuff, and like they stopped making those parts after a while for the older models, so you can no longer, even if you want to and you have the skills to be able to go back and fix that rather than go buy a new one, it becomes harder and harder to do that.
Right. Go to a mechanic and they'll tell you, you know, if you have an older car that those parts are just way harder to find. Like older models, it's almost impossible to find parts for some of those cars.
Yeah. You go to a junkyard and you get one that's like in comparable condition to the one that you're trying to replace.
Right.
But part of kind of my thinking, and this is like my, you know, personal conspiracy theory maybe, is that comes over into other areas of our lives too. I think like this super consumeristic, you know, planned obsolescence mentality comes over into other areas of our lives. So we see it in like our friend groups, we see it in relationships, we see it in maybe our religious affiliation, or like if we go to, you know, a church or synagogue or whatever, what community we're a part of. I think this comes into it, and even to the point of our marriages, you know, if like that extent of relationship is that we're training ourselves in our minds to not fix things that are broken so much as replace them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's... In the case of relationships, I definitely disagree with that. That should not be the go-to plan.
Yeah, but, you know...
But I feel like it
It's the
becomes
easier
that sometimes,
plan,
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's hard work to work on a relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's hard work to fix a friendship that's gone sour, or a marriage that's gone sour and stale and dead. And yet, you know, that's hard work that's worth it, and it gets us to a deeper, a better relationship afterward.
If I think of my long-term relationships, the beginning was like, you know, like super fun and super exciting, and you know, you're starting this thing out, and then it just kind of, you get into a routine and it can get kind of stale. And instead of doing something about that, we'll just kind of be like, hey,
Yeah,
get a new one.
flame.
Yeah.
Right.
No
That's
reignite.
the easiest way to do things, and that's the route people take now, is whatever's easy, you know, and like
Path
when...
of least resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if, you know, a couple of friends, you know, get in a fight and they are mad at each other and stuff, and nowadays, instead of, like, talking to each other, you know, being like, hey, we've been friends for, like, ever, why would we, you know, we should just talk it out. A lot of people will just stop talking to each other, like, just break it off completely, like, bye, whatever. If you're gonna do something I don't like, then I guess I just won't associate with you. And, yeah, that's way easier, but I don't know, as a society we probably should not focus on what's super easy, you know, and what's
it
better
creates-
in the
We've
long
been
run.
doing that for 50 years, and it's just ruining the world.
Yeah.
It creates really like fun, sparky things that are really shallow.
Right.
It always makes me laugh when they come out with all these like green products and like the new electric cars and all this green stuff, But I mean, buying all that stuff, the factories making that green products are still pumping out stuff, making the electric cars.
Right.
So if you just keep buying that stuff, you're still in that consumerism.
Right.
It's not gonna help.
Exactly. And
in a significant way.
like I can even say personally, like it's hard not to take the easy route and think about the future, you know, like if something's easy in the moment, it's way like in my mind, it's way easier to just be like that's what I want to do because it's easy.
Yeah.
But and yeah, I feel like you have to like tell yourself to think about the future. That doesn't come as naturally, you know. You have to be like, hey, you know, this is gonna affect this in the future or whatever, you know.
Man, what's that like?
Yeah, I have a solar panel in my yard, and like I don't know what it took to manufacture that. Like you're saying, like how much pollution, how much consumption of other energies went into actually creating that, so that I have the feeling of benefiting the world in some small way.
Yeah.
I would love to know like how much it outweighs the manufacturing. Because it probably does. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
like
that's just an assumption, but...
It probably does, but, it's still there.
Right.
I think the hope is that if they're making a product like that, we would hope that that company has some sort of, leaning towards...
I mean, and that's not to say that there aren't companies in the world that are, like... There are companies in the world that are, like, small, like, family-owned, like, going green, like, they actually do it because they want to support that cause rather than support the money in their wallet.
That's where the, reduce, reuse, recycle, if you're reusing, materials instead of making new material.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
But again, I think that's part of the thing that we lose too is like, oh, well, reuse it. No, I'm just going to throw it away. We're such a... That's part of that consumer mentality is you consume it and then it's done and goes away and it's not in my backyard anymore. Do you guys have any conspiracy theories or thoughts you've been thinking about?
Yes, I do. I do have one that I want to mention that
hit us up.
Olivia's not going to like too much, but it's okay. Me and Olivia are just going to have to go into Mortal Kombat. It's fine.
We'll see.
So a little angsty teenage rivalry going on.
Yeah, a little bit of that. So a friend of mine a while back told me about this theory and how true it totally was and all this stuff, and I was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard."
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
Oh my god!
Hey, let me finish.
Oh my god, our government is poisoning us.
No, okay. So let me throw this out. So this friend was like, "Hey, you know that like planes and stuff? The reason why they create like smoke and like whatever out of the back of planes is because they're like crop dusting the world
okay
poison so the government can brainwash us because that's exactly what it's for." But
can I just
you want to jump in? You want to jump in? I'm not done yet, but you can jump in.
Yeah, before you finish, this theory like that all planes are doing that was debunked. Like that's not like outwardly completely true, but I think that the more true part of that theory is that it's very, very possible.
I mean, it's
for the government to be
possible, but the part
us.
that I think that makes it impossible is...
Like, it's not every plane that you see, because
but you know how many plane, like, mechanics they are that don't work, that, like, they don't, like, directly affiliate with the government? Like, there's so many mechanics that would, like, that work on planes that...
Yeah, but they can hire mechanics to work on planes who...
Right, but they don't do that.
How do you know?
Because I know.
You know a plane.
But if they were putting poison and it would come out the exhaust, right? The trails, right? So the government would just, whoever makes the jet fuel, just put it in the jet fuel, right? So you don't need everybody, it's just... No mechanic's gonna be like, I'm gonna test this jet fuel.
Yeah, but it's not like they're hiring...
I don't know.
Like, they're just like hiring random mechanics, and those mechanics are like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop this." It's like they not that it's the mechanics, but they'll hire certain people to make stuff happen. Yeah, like that's not a good argument. I'm just gonna put that out there. Shut down.
I think it's a great argument.
I think a pretty good argument against this against chemtrails is that if they are like poisoning, like do politicians ever wear gas masks? Like, they don't go to
That
any,
is a good argument.
They don't go to any means
Yeah.
to protect themselves against this poison they're putting in the air.
That's
Like,
true.
how does it make a difference
Well,
between?
Unless
Well,
they
everyone
have
in-
like
Yeah, unless they're
micro
immune.
filters.
Unless it doesn't work on the reptilia.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say
Think
that.
about it.
Everyone in politics is a reptilian alien, so they
Yeah, that's
probably are.
well, okay.
me
First of
there.
all, that's completely true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, no, I'm not gonna fight you on that one.
yeah, there could
That's
be
just
there
really
could
what
be
it is.
like injections that make you immune. You know, like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with
If-
this
if
we're
they're
assuming
developing
government has that higher
Right,
technology.
if they're
Right.
putting out
But
a
I
poison,
just don't think we
then-
can support a theory by saying, well, it's possible. Because by that means you could be like, it's possible that the government's hiding interdimensional travel and like all this stuff, which is totally possible if you think about it, like that they just hide it from us. But like, doubt it.
But there's no
But-
evidence.
Yeah, there's no evidence at all.
You know, it might be more obvious than that, though. Like, maybe it's not the poison that's coming from chemtrails. Maybe it's, like, right in front of us, like...
The fluoride in the water.
That's right.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
that one's
say,
really
I was
similar
gonna
to
say,
that
like,
one.
farming. Like,
Well, then why do people hate the
pesticides.
government?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they just, like, make it so we all love and listen to the government then?
because that's dumb, and you shouldn't ever do that.
But maybe
isn't that the purpose of
if
it?
it's
Yeah,
something
well,
like
yeah.
that, though,
Chemtrails.
like of the pesticides or like the fluoride in the water, stuff like that,
Right.
they might not even know that it has a negative attribute.
But what's the purpose of like what is it, like brainwashing? Isn't that the purpose of the
The purpose
chemtrail
of the
theory?
chemtrails? I am not sure exactly, but I've heard a couple that say that, like,
I thought that's what it was
Yeah, I
like
thought it was
brainwashing. That's what I heard.
That's
what I read
I've heard some that also say that, like, it causes like physical disability, or like pregnant women
Right,
who
but
like
what would the
inhale
government
it.
gain from that?
Like a kind of really twisted Darwinism situation,
Eugenics.
Wait.
Darwinism?
like kind of taking off those who
The weakest.
yeah.
Survival of the
It's just sort of
fittest.
like eliminating the weakest links.
Yeah, but there's that. But then it's also like we also have a really bad overpopulation issue. So I feel
Yeah,
like if
that's-
that was true, they could probably make that less a problem. You know, like I feel like if it were true, it would have some sort of. There's no way it wouldn't have an impact. Like there's no noticeable impact. Like if it was brainwashing, why do I?
These are smart guys.
Well, yeah, why are we
The
talking
government.
about this right now?
Yeah,
like
this
if
is
we
a
were
bad idea.
brainwashed, why are we
It's not
bringing up?
foolproof.
Well, yeah, but if it's definitely had no effect on some people. Like, there's definitely as far as like
As far as you know.
as far as I know, yes. But like as far as what would make sense, like I don't know a single person that like shows the fact that, like, you know, that they love and worship our government. Like,
Maybe
well,
it's like
that'd be so easy. If you could brainwash the entire world into loving and worshiping the government, that'd be so easy for the government. They'd do it in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
maybe it's reverse psychology. Like they want us to hate them, and somehow that benefits them.
Right.
The reptilians
Hearing a lot of
feed off of
reptilians,
hate.
yeah.
They feed off of hate.
That's
the
true.
reptilians do.
Or there's just a lot of people with a lot of interesting theories and anxieties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty like far-fetched theory,
I
but
agree.
I don't know. I still thought it was cool. Also, mostly just because like there's that picture that like went around on like MySpace towards the end of MySpace of that kid that has the shirt and it says Google Chemtrails and he's like 4 years old. It's cool. I don't know. Don't worry about it. We can stop talking about MySpace
It's like-
forever. Anyways,
So there was this cute
Yeah.
kid who wore a shirt, and that's my evidence.
yeah, the chemtrails are real.
And MySpace died,
Obviously.
but now he's on Tumblr, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. Oh, it's not
Yeah.
ever. I'd rather talk about MySpace for 40 minutes than Tumblr.
I don't want to talk about either of those things. So, anyways,
Go on.
What's the farmer you were talking about?
a what?
What's the farmer you were talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
This is
pesticides.
farmer?
Like pesticides is like instead of chemtrails, I think. Is
Oh, yeah, I just brought that up.
I don't know, you
But a
talked about a
better-
guy.
No,
the
you-
hiker?
No, that
Oh,
the
the
hiker.
hiker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're talking about the hiker.
So that was not just one hiker. It was a group of, I think, 9. I have the Wikipedia page for the incident
Only
open.
the best sources.
Only the.
Well, it's not entirely a conspiracy. It was, like an actual event, but then I'll get into
First of all,
what the conspiracies
there's nothing
were.
wrong with Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
people
there's also nothing wrong with
brainwashing you into
Wikipedia.
thinking.
Yeah.
There's just like 50 people that say there's something wrong with Wikipedia with no evidence, and then everyone's like, well,
Yeah.
people said it, so it must be true. Because that's how
All right,
really
well,
people
I'm using
brainwash.
Wikipedia, but if you'd like to look up the Dyatlov Pass incident on better sources, then I'll leave that to you because that's something that happened. Anyways, so it was basically an experienced group of hikers. I wish this would say how many it was. It looks like 6 victims. Okay, so basically they were hiking in Russia, and this was in. Well, it was in 1959.
So Stalin.
Even better.
So yeah, and they were hiking this like really long trail, and they all went missing. So after like a week of being missing, their families demanded.
Hiking in Russia is dangerous enough.
Right. It was a really dangerous trail that they were on.
Yeah.
So their families sent out like a search party, and I think after like a week or something, they found some of the victims, and they found them near their tent. They had ripped open their tent from the inside and all like fled from the tent completely naked, or maybe in their socks or something. But yeah, just like all like ripped out of the tent and just like ran in different directions and died of hypothermia. And they couldn't figure out why the hikers just like ran out of the tent naked. And also some of the victims, I think like 2 or 3 maybe, they didn't find for a second, and then did find them, and they had like very, very strange like injuries, like their ribs were shattered, but they had no external injuries, and one girl was like missing her tongue and her eyes or something like that. And one guy, like his skull was fractured, but had no external injuries. So the conspiracy part of that all was, proven, obviously, historically accurate. But, yeah, the conspiracy was like, everyone was like, well, what happened to these people? And the best one that I've heard, this is not proven, but was that it was infrasound induced. And infrasound is, like a lower frequency hertz of I think like 15 hertz, and it's like lower than normal human hearing, but it triggers a fear response in human beings. So they think that there was like an infrasound frequency in that area, and the hikers like fled their tents because they panicked because like it induced the fear response. And then the other theory that I think probably ties in with that was that the government at that time, or the military actually, was testing a new technology called parachute bombs, which were pretty much just like bombs that they would like set off and they would like lower to the ground and then like detonate a few feet above the ground, and it would send out like a shock wave, and it would cause internal injury but not external, and it would kill you. And some people say that it was possible that it also included infrasound that would induce the panic response. So that was never proven, but those are some cool theories, I thought.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like, the easy thing to say is like, oh, like wolves go for like eyes and tongues and stuff, but they had no external injuries.
It was there was a theory that it was possible that there was an animal attack, but still there was no.
And to me, that sounds like, from the injuries you described, that sounds like pressure, like high amounts of pressure.
The force that I think it was one of the hikers who had
collapsed in, they got their eyes and all that.
Yeah, the rib injury, that one hiker, I think it said that they were shattered with the force of being hit by a car.
That's crazy.
But no externals.
That's
which is crazy. Infrasound also it's not just humans that react to it. It can also, or it's said to be able to like move objects.
Be an awesome supervillain name. Infrasound.
It sounds like something out of X-Men or something.
I think the real question here is, what were all these Russian people doing naked in the tent in the first place?
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's in the winter. Like, why were they naked?
I don't know.
Man. But the other possibility is, were they
if they had went crazy, then
it causes like panic and like complete
panic and hysteria. Did they think their clothes were closing in on them?
Exactly.
That's true. It could have been hysteria. Maybe they were just like on great many of psychedelic drugs too.
Well, I don't. Or they probably would have tested for that.
That's probably.
They said they died of hypothermia. They said they died of hypothermia.
Yes.
And so in the tent, like one of the stages of hypothermia is you think you're super hot.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
if they're taking off
Right.
all their clothes because they think they're really hot.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't read that, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So something I wanted to mention as well on this podcast, just going with the theme that us as humans, we have the brains of sheep. It's just a true thing. Or we're just sheep. Like without each other, we're nothing. We follow each other. We do what each other does. We learn from each other. We do that. We're sheep. And they did this study where I don't remember the source, so that stinks. But basically what they did was they took this room full of like 10 or 15 people, and they had them all, like, you know where I'm going.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And they had a bell in the room, and they just said they were having a meeting. Everyone sit down, Well, these people knew what was going on. They told them to sit down, and they were told that every time they hear the bell go off to stand up and sit back down. And they tested a few times, and they made the bell go off every couple of seconds, and they'd stand up, sit back down. And they sent this girl in who had no idea what was going on. Like, they just told her it was for a meeting and everything, like a board meeting. And she goes and sits down at one of the chairs, and the bell goes off, and everyone stands up, sits back down. Second time, everyone stands up, sits back down. And the third time, she starts doing it with them and everything. And then they take all the people out except the girl. And then they bring in a whole group of new people who had no idea about the bell or the standing up or anything either. So at this point, the bell would go off, and only the girl would stand up and sit back down. And the bell would go off again, and stand up, sit back down. And somebody was like, hey, like, why do you do that every time the bell goes off? And the girl was like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I'm just doing it. Because we genuinely, like, every single day of our lives, like, even, like, every single person on the planet, like, anything, like, you say and stuff, most likely you heard from someone else. Like, there's so many things, like, our vocabulary, like, everything, we just learn from other human beings. We are not independent.
And we're creatures of habit.
Yeah, we are.
So did the new group of people, did they start going up or down?
I don't remember that part.
Because it would make sense if they didn't, because if there's
Yeah,
like one
probably
person
not.
doing it,
Yeah.
you're like, this
Doing it
person is
anymore,
crazy.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the power comes
Mentality.
in the
What would be
numbers.
interesting-
Yeah.
what would be interesting though is if she were in a position of power, like if she were the CEO and everybody knew that, and she were doing it, like
Right.
I feel like they would be more likely to be like, okay, what's the CEO doing? We should probably like
Yeah, exactly.
follow suit.
And there's like no reason for that. Like, you're hearing a bell and you're standing up, sitting back down. Like, what is that accomplishing? Like, you do not, like, she never registered in her brain what that could possibly be for, other than this larger group of human beings is doing it, so I should do it. And that takes place in, like, our schools, especially, like, in adolescence and everything. Like, you hear somebody start saying, like, something, a lot, and you'll say it too. It's
Like Crivens.
Yeah, like Crivens. Harold got me to say Crivens. I don't know why. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But he said it like 5 times, and I was like, hey.
I got it from Terry Pratchett.
Terry Pratchett.
What was it that I
Shout
said?
out.
I said the other day when I was doing your arm. It was Instagrizzle.
Instagrizzle.
Yeah,
that's
Tyler
it.
got me saying Instagrizzle. I hate it.
Instagram, just a shout out to everyone out there if you got an Instagram. It's actually
Stop.
it's actually called Instagrizzle.
Not what I
thought you were trying to shout out.
Oh
your-
no, I'm not
your,
shouting out my name. No,
He's 2 chains and a watch.
I'm too. Hey. But yeah, no, Instagrizzle is definitely the way to go. You should all say that because you're sheep and you should do it. But
Well, it is the superior platform.
yeah,
Yeah.
Instagrizzle, dude, it's way superior to Instagram. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I just
Yeah,
meant
no.
the app. Yeah.
I
mean, now that it's just Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat is really. See, the thing is, that's another
Rest
thing.
in peace.
I hate Snapchat, I really do,
Yeah,
but I use it because everyone else uses it, and that's how you get in
exactly.
contact
I
with
can't
people.
I refuse to
delete
use
Snapchat.
Right.
I've been trying to delete it for like a year, but everyone
Exactly.
else uses it. It's driving me nuts.
And that's
Exactly.
hilarious because like Facebook is trying to be Snapchat.
Yeah, Facebook
with
is-
their, like
it's-
stories. And
Honestly,
stuff.
Facebook is dead.
Yeah,
Let's
nobody
just put
uses
that out
Facebook
there.
anymore. Like,
Except
unless
for
you.
us, and we
Yeah.
have a podcast page on Facebook.
That's true. Oh, hey, sorry for all you folks.
Never
out there.
mind.
Psych.
Delete your Facebook.
No, oh god, no.
Grown-ups use Facebook.
See, I see
Cool
the point
kids.
of
Only
Facebook.
the cool kids still use Facebook because we're committed.
I see the point of Facebook. It's a good way to get in contact
You won't
with
be on this
people and
podcast
stuff.
again.
Ow.
Like old family. Like I have a lot of old family in California. so it's like good to have Facebook.
What's awesome for
That's exactly what
connecting
I don't want.
as well as like just events and stuff. Facebook's event software is amazing. Like for HEMA events and stuff, you think of like when we're doing our fencing stuff and finding out about things that are going on in our region, you know, like there's Facebook events for that are really good and they come right into your calendar. It's got that down.
That's true.
But Facebook, all of this stuff, the social media could lead into another conspiracy theory that the government is just watching us through that. Like
that's
that,
true.
that is
I think
so
that's
true.
definitely
They're
true.
selling our
I
information.
think I was slowly trained to not want to use Facebook because every time I go on Facebook, I see somebody that like posted or like shared something, and I look at it and I'm like, why? Like, why is this, like, why would you do this to me? Like, this is on my feed now. Like, I had to see this.
Or
like,
if you
I don't want to.
If you go and look up something on Amazon, that
Oh,
ad
right, yeah.
that pops up as an ad in Facebook for like
Yeah.
the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie recently, Please Don't Send the Cops After Me, but it was on like an illegal site, right? And since then, I've been getting all of these calls on my cell phone, like, and texts, trying to get me to buy stuff, and it's
Did
all
you
like...
put your number in?
I don't know,
You must
maybe at
have.
some point. I don't remember.
Mistake.
But yeah, so I've been getting all these like crazy calls and stuff, and it's absolutely driving me nuts, and it's really like freaking me out. And I think just like to put, I don't really have anything more to say about this, but I'm gonna put in the show notes that you should watch the episode of Black Mirror that I think is called, it's something about dancing. It's on like season 3, episode 1 or something like that.
Probably.
But it's really scary.
We'll have the exact one in the
Yeah,
show notes.
we'll put the exact one in there. But oh my gosh, it's so scary, and basically it's like this guy stop, Zach. It's a good show. Basically this guy downloads a virus on his computer, and these people are like watching him through his camera, and then they start like making him do stuff, like they send him texts, and they're like, you have to do this or else we'll like expose what you did. And it's like, it's crazy. It's really,
you told me about
it's
this.
horrible. I couldn't
It's why
sleep
she has a
for
piece
so
of
many-
tape over.
Yeah, I have tape over
on
my
the
laptop
phone.
right now. But you
Yeah.
should watch it. It's a good, related to like technology conspiracy.
This
kind
is
of.
just a shout out that episode is definitely probably like PG-13, you know.
Oh, it's like super messed up.
Yeah.
It's like way more than that. It's
Way more
like,
than PG-13.
yeah.
Alright. So
Yeah, it's like really,
if you're
really
gonna get queasy,
intense.
don't watch it.
Yeah.
We can jump back to like social media, and it's like crazy. They like design it to be addicting. I was watching a story on the news a little bit about this person who works in social media and like part of the Silicon Valley, and just Snapchat just added their streak thing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So now kids are getting all stressed out because if you don't know what a streak is, you don't have a Snapchat, like you got the list of all the people you've Snapchatted and all the name, and they put a little fireball and the number of days in a row that you've Snapchatted that person. So people have
163 days.
163.
Yeah.
And kids are getting so stressed out because they gotta Snapchat all their
I
friends
see
at
people
least
Snapchat,
once a
like,
day.
photos of
Yeah,
the
my
wall
bad.
just
And
to
you
maintain
lose.
it.
Matt has like 12 people he's got like 300-day streaks with.
That's absurd.
And the thing is like that's crazy. Like I'd never want to like devote time to that, but like in a way, like I see like it feels kind of good, you know.
Oh,
like you
yeah.
see that streak thing pop
You
up, and you're like,
see- you gotta
hey,
get it.
like you see that cool little fireball, and your brain's like, hey,
Let's
that's
get the
cool.
high score. How high can I get
How
it?
high can I
Yeah.
get? Like this person's cool. That means we're good friends. Yay.
I actually
And-
remember when Instagram added stories to the app.
Stupid.
I remember
Dumb.
your post
Lame.
about that. You posted on the story, just another garbage thing I feel obligated to look at or something like that. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Because it's true. I always look through my whole Instagram
Yeah.
feed and all of the stories because I feel completely obligated and like
Yeah.
like what if I don't see something?
Yeah,
Like,
I have
it's
like
all
OCD
garbage,
about
but
it
like
too.
what
like,
if I
there's
don't?
definitely several people that I'm friends with on Snapchat that I know every time they post something on their story, it just disgusts me, and I'm like, this is stupid. But
Yeah.
I still check it in every because I want it to like go away, like say
Yeah,
that.
you don't want that
You know?
notification there.
Exactly. I want.
That's
it to
the
be
only
like,
reason I
I've
watch
seen them all.
stories ever.
Yeah, I don't usually watch the stories. I just ignore them.
Yeah, I just click through them because I see a little purple bubble next to it, and I'm like click through and like get rid of all of it just because I want the purple bubble to go away because I'm
It's
a
so
sheep.
funny though, like, and what that does to our mentality too, because like, you'll be out, like I'll go out with friends or something, and you go to dinner, And instead of like sitting there having meaningful conversation around the dinner table, people are like on their little devices instead of.
I'm literally
which
checking
is
my
super
Instagram
lame.
notifications right now.
That's super lame.
It's how I deal with stress, like an awkward situation.
Oh my God,
it's like
yeah.
automatic. I grab my phone.
Yeah.
Like I'll have nothing
It's such
to
a
do.
social thing.
Right.
It
Exactly.
teleports you like out of wherever you are, basically.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah, it's sweet. Like I think I watch Jeopardy with my grandparents every night. I put the phone away, and I think that's the way it ought to should be. You know, you can learn things
Yeah, if you're
too
a
from
nerd.
the elderly. Hey, Jeopardy's a cool show, all right? Don't
Shout out
hate.
to Jeopardy.
Don't hate. 7 o'clock Jeopardy is like what keeps me alive, dude. I swear. Like every day, it's the one thing I look forward to. 7 o'clock Jeopardy. Sometimes I get the question right, and I'm like, that feels good.
Did you see the
Go
episode
on
with
Jeopardy.
Rebecca on it? Rebecca Glass from the Human Community?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I've been
She was
waiting
on one.
to. I've been waiting
I
to.
don't know if it aired yet or not.
Oh. Speaking of, I don't know if you guys heard about all the like scams that have been going around.
The telephone one?
Oh yeah, like telephone scams, like all this stuff.
Yeah, what does he say? He's like, "Can you hear me?" or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
there's, everyone keep in mind, my grandfather actually got this phone call, and I saw it on the news, and I was like, is that really true? Then my grandfather got the phone call, and I was like, yeah, it absolutely is true. Somebody calls your house or your cell phone or whatever and says, hey, my name is blah, 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 can you hear me okay? And then if you say yes, then they use voice recognition to like mess with you completely. Like they can use it to charge you for things because they have your voice saying yes, which is enough nowadays. Like a reporter can be like, hey, would you say that was a traumatic and terrifyingly dark experience for you? Like use whatever words they want, and if you just say yes, they can quote you in like their magazine is saying that was a terrifying and dark whatever they said. They can quote you for what they said just because you said yes. Like they can mess with you pretty bad, and there's tons of things all over the internet where it's like you try to watch a video on the internet and 2 versions of the video will pop up, and one of them you'll see in the corner says ad, like really tiny in the corner. If you click on that thinking it's the video, that's the idea, it's supposed to make you think it's a video. You click on that and it brings you to another website and it tries to give you a virus and it tries to get you to like download some
That's
stuff.
what happened to me.
It's
Or
like,
ads with the X mark.
Oh, but it's red,
But it's
yeah.
on the
Right.
mark and it's not
Yeah,
the
exactly.
real one.
And if you ever, by the way, if you ever see an ad that says you need to make an account for this, absolutely do not do that. That is a giant mistake. That is like giving them anything they could possibly
Yeah, I
need.
definitely made an account on like a movie website.
Horrible idea. Never
That's
do
probably
that.
why
I
I'm
promise
being.
you, I do movie websites too. You can find that same movie. You just have to
I
like
know.
take the time to look through the
Well,
website.
I use like Putlocker.
Right. Well, some of them say you have to
Which is
make an
not so
account, and then you just hit no, and then it still lets you watch the video
Yeah.
anyway. Like, because they're just trying to get you to like get a virus or whatever, do whatever they want. That's why my grandfather, he's honestly terrified of putting in his credit card on like even like eBay, even like the most trusted, like obviously aren't going to steal your credit card or they will reimburse you, because they're like big businesses. They're like, but he's still like horrified of that. But of course, my grandfather's kind of crazy. He thinks like Y2K is going to like destroy us all. But,
Still?
yeah, he's still like
In 2017?
Yeah,
Y2K, it's coming.
yeah, it's like there's somebody's
2012.
going to invent a time machine. We're going to go back to 2000s, and then the machine.
My
will
dad
be
has
over
this
us.
great like newspaper clipping from like Y2K or the months prior to, and it was basically like there was a whole like advertising gimmick where people would put like Y2K on like essentials, like stuff that you would need if there was an apocalypse. And it started to get like pretty wild. Like they would just put it on everything. So he has this great ad, and it's like hot dog shaped dog treats, and it says Y2K like must have, and it's just so funny. It's in our basement still. I love it.
Awesome. What do you know? The machine's weakness was dog treats.
Yeah.
All Terminator. They could stop Judgment Day, dude. They could. They didn't have to fight it. They totally could stop Judgment Day.
We're
They're
in the
just
right
doing it all
place though,
wrong.
because Vermont's the place that becomes the utopia at the end.
Yeah, every
that's
single
true.
apocalypse. It's either Vermont or New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's true. Like even in movies, they're like, we
Yeah.
got to go to the cold regions because
It's
there's
like
a zombie
iRobot.
apocalypse.
Yeah, just freeze them out.
Exactly. Like,
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
Vermont. Vermont's the greatest.
Tyler, what the heck is the Mandela effect?
Oh my god. It's the coolest. It's the coolest.
Nice segue.
It's the coolest and stupidest thing ever because it's like it's been proven to be false. Like it's definitely not true. But every time you look at it, it's like wow, that like
unless it is maybe the things that are making you think that it's been proven to be false
are actually Mandela effect.
Oh my god! All right, let me explain the Mandela effect. Ow, my tattoo, you monster! Let me explain the Mandela effect to these people, these lovely people that are listening. Shout out to you guys. So
I'll do a little pandering.
I listen, so I'm half.
It's like Harold's wife and Harold's daughter.
And our friend Jez in England.
Hey,
that's right.
Shout out.
Shout out to
It's great.
Your name, dude.
Cross the pond.
Love the English. So the Mandela effect is basically this theory that we went through a wormhole and everything changed slightly when we went through this wormhole. Because if you look at it, the reason why it started was tons of old people were like, what do you mean Nelson Mandela died in prison in like the 80s? Like, but he just died a couple of years ago or something. I don't know much about that stuff. But, and everyone had this like uproar. They were like, well, I don't know when he died, but everyone had this uproar like, what do you mean Nelson Mandela? Yeah, Nelson Mandela died like.
That's almost been like 2014 maybe.
In the 80s in prison, like how is he dying now? Like it was crazy, and people were like, "Oh, you guys are just insane." Like obviously he's still alive.
December 5th, 2013.
2013. So wow, can't believe it's 2017. But anyways,
It was that long ago.
bro.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but if you look at stuff almost everyone in the world thinks there's examples like. Harold, would you mind Googling some more examples? I have some in my head, but there's the Berenstain Bears is what everyone calls it.
Right.
But it's actually, if you look it up right now, it's the Berenstain Bears, not the Berenstain Bears.
They always said Berenstain, though.
Yeah, they always said everyone says Berenstain Bears, but it's the Berenstain Bears. And then you hear, what about, what was it like?
Star Wars.
Yeah, Luke, I am your father. He never says that once. He says, no, I am your father. And then there's one of the craziest ones for me, I watched the video. Everyone thinks it's Mirror, Mirror on the Wall from that old Disney movie, but it's actually Magic
No, that
Mirror
one
on the Wall.
was. There's two versions.
No. Wrong.
There's like.
Don't really.
What?
I'm trying to explain this.
There are two versions of that movie, and they say different things.
Well, the original version says Magic Mirror on the Wall.
But the newest Disney version.
Oh, the newest one, like the one that
not newest, but the.
When did it come out?
I don't know. I think they redid it.
Like the redid it one they said.
Yeah, the redone because there was the
Really?
very very original one, and that was Magic Mirror, and then there was the newest one that was Mirror Mirror.
How far apart were they?
I have no idea. I'll pull it.
Was
up.
it like in the after 2000s?
Yes.
Okay, well that was like.
I think
after
so. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
If it was after 2000, that was after people already freaked out about the Magic Mirror on the Wall thing.
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
If anything, that could be like why they said Mirror, Mirror on the Wall.
Yeah,
maybe the people who made the movie genuinely thought that's what they said.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But they were just like
Guess I
catering
don't
to popular
really know,
belief.
Yeah. Because it's true. There's so many things like that people are like, you hear things and it's just not true. There's like shirts that say Luke, I am your father on it, but that's never been a Star Wars quote. It's always been no, I am your father. Trust me, I know I've watched like every Star Wars like 20 times.
Yeah, we just assume there's no reason to doubt that.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody was like, "Oh, I love that line, Luke, I am your father," be like, "Yeah, it's a great line." There's no reason to doubt it.
Yeah, there's no no, actually. Yeah, that just goes back to our human brains being the brains of sheep.
Yeah.
You know, it's a true thing. You got any more for us?
So I've got a nice BuzzFeed article.
Oh, all right. Nobody.
Podcast over. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We do a whole podcast about BuzzFeed.
The day BuzzFeed becomes one of our sources is the day we die as a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my goodness.
What do you got though?
Well, we're coming to about the end of our time anyways.
Are we?
Did you? Yeah, I'm getting there.
Are you supposed to be in class?
9:42.
I don't need a class.
Okay.
Stop dating this podcast.
Go learn some real science in biology class.
Whoa.
What?
Mikey's gonna do anything there.
Called out.
I just spent 40 minutes or whatever talking about not real science, and now I have to go to real science.
It's actually all true. All of this is true.
Gosh.
Lizard people are running America.
Reptilian.
So thank you guys again for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our next episode. And we've got, as always, our way of saying goodbye. Does Devyn know?
I know. I listen to the podcast.
Devyn to the know?
Yeah.
Zing! Yeah.
Go, Olive, say it.
Come on!
I'm not.
Come on, sing
I
it!
won't
Sing
sing
it! All of us
Sing it.
sing it!
I'm good. I'm
Zing.
fine. I'm
Do a
fine.
zing.
Everything's fine.
Zing! I heard it!
I didn't.
Olive said it.
That's so.
Conspiracy, Olive just
I'm
zing.
completely offended.
Olive's.
Hey, Olive, say
Wait,
yes.
did she zang?